Hi there. Actually, I was gonna make a video for my friend who asked me for some help, and I feel like everyone else, that's watching that can also benefit. Question she asked me was, she has a friend at work who has high anxiety. She starts crying out of nowhere, and other coworkers have labeled her as weak. So what should I do, and how can I be positive around others? So the situation here is basically she has a friend at work. She has high anxiety, and her coworkers are calling her timid, and she's just asking, what can she do to help her friend out? How can she be a stable for support? So the first thought I have in mind is, if your coworkers are calling you timid, that's not a good place to work or good culture. There's definitely something wrong with the leadership. But going back to her friend, because that's what's the important thing over here, is that she has anxiety. So the issue here with anxiety is, let me read and let me define what anxiety is according to the DSM-5, the Diagnostic and Statistic Manual of Mental Disorders. So anxiety disorders include disorders that share features of excessive fear and anxiety and related behavioral disturbances. Fear is the emotional response to real or perceived imminent threat, whereas anxiety is anticipation of future threat. So basically, anxiety is anticipating that something bad is going to happen. So what's happened with her friend that I can, really ascertain is her friend went through a traumatic incident, or she's gone through some incidents where her brain has associated now like patterns of distress. So she's literally anticipating something bad happening. You can imagine a trauma, in her childhood, early as early as birth for some people that literally feel that they're walking on eggshells. So for them, anxiety is a very common thing. That's their body's response, because neurologically, if you've been, exposed to a lot of stress over time, it can develop into something very bad, very unhealthy. It creates that pattern of anxiety because now you are expecting it to happen. You're expecting something, a danger, imminent threat. So I have a lot of compassion for her friend first and foremost, because for her to go through that, I can't imagine, how hard it must be for her. She's literally walking on eggshells. She feels as if anything can happen to her at any moment, at any time. So, what I can offer are some suggestions from that, may help her. That will help her, I know. So one of the techniques is known as emotional freedom technique. It's also known as, in energy medicine, our body has meridian points. So like EFT stands for emotional freedom technique. So you tap in certain areas like this. So this is a meridian point right here on the karate chop area. You have a meridian point right here on the collarbone. You have a meridian point right here on the chin. You have one right here, right under the eyes. And you have one here as well, the sides. So the idea of this is that you're just tapping yourself, and that's sensation is said to just calm you down. And as you're doing this, what's important is, even for her friend, she should say things like, I am not feeling afraid. I'm feeling safe and sound. I feel calm, in a state of bliss. And honestly, I've done this as long as for 30 minutes. You can do this for 5 minutes. Keep doing it. There's something very meditative about this process. It gets you into very relaxed meditative state. So I highly recommend that. Many doctors as well use this practice. Another idea is a great suggestion is practicing mindfulness. Mindfulness is great for anxiety. It's great for depression. It's great for many things. And the idea behind mindfulness is whatever emotions or feelings or thoughts you are experiencing, mindfulness is simply taking a step behind the feeling, behind the thought, behind those projections. You take a step back, and now you're simply an observer. And you're observing without being emotionally attached to those feelings, to those thoughts, because you just see them as floating clouds, and they're just coming and going. So because some people, when they have a thought or a feeling, they literally think, oh my God, am I a bad person? Oh my God, is this the end of the world? We get too caught up in our own emotions and our own thoughts. When we take a step behind, let's take a step back, where we're just mindful, we let go, we detach of these feelings, of these thoughts that we're experiencing, and simply observing them going by. We learn to create this space, and we just breathe now. And as we're breathing more and more calmly, there is space for calmness. It does wonders. Simple as breathing. When you breathe, you get out of your mind and more into your body. Think about this. Whenever you're stressed out, notice your breathing. Is it shallow? Chances are it is. But when you breathe, I feel that just doing that made me feel so much more relaxed. Oh my God. Yeah, so I highly suggest that. And it's a practice that develops over time as well. So first day, just start with your breathing, just notice. And then over time, just sit in silence, sit in quietness, just whatever feels right for you. Even guided meditations are great. The third one, you know what, I'm going to say this last, but the next one I want to suggest is the triad. So this is what Tony Robbins uses. A lot of it is, NLP, neuro-linguistic programming. So the triad is like, imagine a triangle. There's three aspects. The first is, language, focus, and then physiology. Language is what kind of words are you using? Because even simply something as simple as words can have a huge impact and effect on your psyche, on your psychological development. You look at some people, they use certain words like poverty, shackles, imprisonment. I don't think those people are very free. You'll see other people that use more positive words, right? But the idea behind this is whatever words you're using, subconsciously those words have an effect on you. Every word has a vibration behind it. If I say the word hate, doesn't it feel like I'm piercing through your soul by just saying that? But what if I use the word compassion, empathy, love? Dr. Emoto did a study where he took water and he froze water and sang certain words to those water particles, and then after he froze those water samples, he found that each word had an impact on the water samples. So when he froze them, the water samples, they turned into snowflakes, and he saw that when you use positive words like love, affection, caring, gratitude, compassion, the water samples made the most beautiful snowflakes. But when he said words like hate, crime, evil, Hitler, those same water samples turned out to be the most ugliest, weirdest looking samples. So think about that. And when we look at the human body, what are we? We're mostly water. So be careful with words you use. Even, holy scriptures, when you read them, they have such high, eloquent sayings. You are on a higher vibration. You are your water yourself. So be very careful with what you're saying. So language is the first one. Second, physiology. When your friend is anxious, look how she walks. Just notice her walking. I'm sure the way she's walking is her shoulders are a little down, her head is a little down, or just, you can look at her eyes and you're like, all right, she's freaking out already. She's not walking with confidence, with bravado, or just with knowing that she feels safe and she belongs. She is walking in a certain way. So what Tony suggests is walk in a very, he says motion evokes emotion. So if by just smiling like this, you're naturally gonna start creating, those states of happiness just inside your body. Is like, oh, this person's smiling, that means it's a good thing. If you're sad, if you're droopy, you're gonna naturally go down, and that's gonna trigger depressive thoughts. The third is focus. So what are you focusing on? If your friend has anxiety, chances are she's focusing on all the things that could go wrong rather than all the things that could go right. Because, that's what anxiety is, right? But this is going to require work on her part. She's going to have to focus, when she gets immediately that thought like, oh my God, I could fall down the stairs and die. Rather, she should delete that thought, rethink, add a positive thought. Say, okay, I could possibly die down the stairs, but I'm going to walk step by step and I'll get there safe and sound. I will be all right. And she just got to keep on repeating, keep on doing it. It's all repetition. You go to the gym, you're not going to become Arnold Schwarzenegger first day. It's going to take a few months, maybe a few years, if you want to be Arnold Schwarzenegger, right? But if you want to be like any healthy human being, give it a few weeks. You'll start noticing changes. In a few months, you'll be, honestly, 4 months, you'll be a whole different person, depending on how much protein you take, but that's another story. Now, other tools your friend can use, and people who are anxious, mantras, affirmations, everywhere I go, everywhere I am, I feel calmer and calmer. Just by saying that, it creates this sense. Have your friend wake up every morning. Another great idea as a psychologist, Shauna Shapiro recommends, is go to the bathroom every morning and place your hand on top of your heart in the mirror and say to yourself, like, Cheyenne, I love you. Whatever your name is, just say, I love you. And really feel that energy and really go with it deep in your body. Try different things. Connect with your heart, connect with your body, mind, body, heart. When everything is rolling together, when we're working together in a symbiotic relationship with this triad, that is the perfect model of success. People that are very smart, very intelligent, but no heart, that's not healthy. People that are utmost of heart but no intelligence, they can get away with it. But we have a mind for a reason. So exercise the mind, the heart, the spirit, the body. It's a holistic approach. Everything needs to work with everything else together in unison. Now, what I want to suggest is, well, two things are coming up for me, and I'm just wondering which one to say first. But what's going on with your friend who has anxiety is she doesn't feel safe, And so going back, she's going to have to do a lot of reflection on her part. She's going to have to figure out what caused and what triggered this anxiety in her. There has to be a moment in time in her life which she experienced that has now created this pattern of anxiousness in her. And this is going to take a lot of reflective thought. Now, she doesn't need to go to a psychiatrist or a psychologist and go through 50 sessions. It shouldn't take that long. I don't believe in that model. What your friend needs to do is really think hard, think deeply, because it's there. Whatever has caused this pattern, this shift in her, she can go back and she can find it again. It's there. Notice it. And then really that awareness is going to give her so much power, because our biggest fear is fear of the unknown, if you really think about that. But when we conceptualize something, when we have an idea, if you think about, I want to go to this event on Friday, immediately your brain starts thinking, oh my God, how am I going to park? How many people are going to be there? Yada, yada, yada. But when you're there, actually, is it that bad? No. Our biggest fear is fear of the unknown. So for your friend, I highly recommend her. She needs to do this to find her, find her demons. is to really notice and figure out when this happened, when she was triggered, and then from that day on, you know, just move forward. Stop being stuck. And this is the perfect way to kind of bring it all together, is this book I'm reading by Thupten Jinpa. It's called The Fearless Heart. A big aspect of your friend bringing it all together is self-compassion. You know, having empathy for her. I feel that she's been going through a tough time, and what she really needs in this moment is to practice a lot of self-compassion for herself. You know, she needs to give herself that love. And the biggest thing, the best thing you can ever do for yourself in this world is have self-compassion. Because when you have self-compassion for yourself, then you have compassion for everyone else, for all others, because now you feel so connected to them, because we are all one. Separation is an illusion. We are all one. We are all one. And so let me read. Well, there's three aspects that your friend can practice in self-compassion. Is 1, try to be more aware of any negative, self-critical thoughts and self-talk. That's number 1. Try to be more aware of any negative, self-critical thoughts and self-talk. We're very self-critical towards ourselves, and not so much on others. Why is that? We need to start having self-compassion. You know, if you ever think something bad about yourself, flip it and just say, I'm a good person. Number 2, see that these are just thoughts, constructs, and interpretations. They are representations and not actual facts. Just like mindfulness, it's a thought comes into your mind. It doesn't mean it's a true thought. It's just a thought. We have thousands and 50,000 thoughts a day. Are they all right? No, they're just thoughts. Number 3, explore ways in which you can reframe negative judgments with more compassionate ones. So we're very judgy towards others and ourselves. But if we're very judgy towards ourselves, we are automatically judgy towards others. So let's not judge ourselves on that plane. We are human. We make mistakes. It's okay. Let's move on. You know, the odds of us being on this planet are what? Like 1 in 400 trillion. So you are a miracle. Your friend who has anxiety, she's a miracle. The odds of her just being born are so much more than friggin' having a double, triple eclipse on Mars and Jupiter all in one and winning the lottery on the same day. Just know that you're not a mistake. Know that you have a purpose on earth. Know that you're beautiful. Stop being so hard on yourself. Lastly, I want to close with this. Our heart closes because we have felt burned and we're afraid of being burned again. We think we have been let down or taken advantage of by others too often, so we put up our guard. We think open hearts are for chumps. It may be a friend or family member who hurt us, or someone at work, or it may be a whole oppressive and exploitive system. One way or another, everybody feels hurt. So your friend who has anxiety, she's hurt. And those coworkers that are making fun of her are also hurt people. You know, that's the patterns they've learned. But the best way, the greatest way for us to ascend and move forward in life is to start within first. You know, start breathing, start having self-compassion for us and for all. And let's just move forward from there and see what happens. Thank you for listening. God bless you.